Okay gents, on approach to the vehicle, what we're looking for is that the vehicle is lying level to make sure that the front axle and also the rear axle is not overweight. You can tell that just by, I'll get an idea of that as we walk up to the vehicle as to how the vehicle is lying. Okay, walk across. So looking at the vehicle, making sure it's lying right. Come to the front of the vehicle. Make sure it's not down on either side, which would indicate perhaps the vehicle's not loaded correctly or you've got a problem with the suspension. That vehicle's lying square, we're happy with that. First thing that we need to do now is put in our tachograph card, because what you must do is record your duty from the time that you start, from the time when you come on duty. Okay, and you do that by using either a tachograph chart, which is with the analogue vehicles, or with the driver card for the digital vehicles. This is a digital vehicle, so the first thing we must do is put the digital card in the tachograph. You have to switch the ignition on before you put the card in. Putting the card in, and it's now going through the process of accepting the card. Okay, so the tachograph card's in the tachograph, it's all been loaded up correctly, and we've got it on crossed hammers. Crossed hammers is other work which it must be recorded on whilst you do your daily walk around check. The first thing we need to do is check the oil. The oil can either be checked with a dipstick from underneath the vehicle cab or from inside the vehicle. With this particular vehicle, it's got to be underneath the engine bonnet. 3 points of contact getting out of the vehicle, making sure that you don't fall out of the vehicle. A lot of drivers get injured by falling out of vehicles. Checking the oil. What we need to do first of all is clean it and re-dip it to get the correct level. What you're also looking for is the colour of the oil. If it's a white colour, that means you've got water in the oil system, and obviously with that you can't use the vehicle. So checking the level on that. The one is the right colour, and the second thing is it's between the markers. Are you happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Obviously that's where the oil goes in. If you need to top it up, making sure that's secure. Here's your radiator top up. We can see where the level is there. Can you all see that?
Yeah.
Good. The windscreen washer fill up is around the side here. Some vehicles, if you look through the front, you can actually see the container, you can see what the level is. Unfortunately with this vehicle you can't. So before we go out on the road and with this vehicle, we're going to top up the windscreen washer level. Making sure that's firmly closed. Have a look underneath the vehicle, make sure there's no leaks, oil leaks, fuel leaks or what have you, and there's no signs of any leaks there. What you need to do now is to just run the vehicle build up the air, make sure that all the controls are working and the indicators are working inside the vehicle, warning instruments. So looking at the display, there's no warnings there. What we're doing now is I'm waiting for the air to go up for the braking system. The air is now built up for the braking system. Both gauges are working, both gauges are showing the same pressure, which is important. What we need to do now is the daily walk around check of the vehicle. Got to put the side lights on. Three points of contact getting out. Whenever you start your check, start at the driver's side, look at your mirrors, making sure there's no cracks in the mirrors. Any cracks in the mirrors, it's a PG9 from the ministry, that's a prohibition, they'll put the vehicle off the road there and then. Looking at your tyres, making sure legally you only need 1 mil, but most firms operate that when they get to 3 mil, the drivers put in a defect form in and bring it to the notice of the workshop. Looking for any cuts or bulges in the wall of the tyre, and making sure that we've got a high pressure valve cap on the valve. If the valve fails, the high pressure valve cap will keep the air in the tyre. It'll save you from a blowout. Checking your wheel nuts, making sure that your wheel nuts are secure. Bearing in mind that there are several hundred wheel detachments each year, mainly because drivers don't check the wheel nuts before they go out with the vehicle on the road. Looking for any rust runs. Any rust runs will be an indicator that wheel nuts are coming undone. Checking your lights, checking the security of the side rail, checking the security of the fuel cap, making sure that we've got no fuel leaks. Coming down, making sure that's secure, checking your lights, having a look at the tread depth on the tyres, giving the walls of the tyres a kick. What we're doing there is making sure that both tyres are inflated. If one tyre was flat, the other one would hold it in position, and just by looking at it you wouldn't know that it was flat. Checking for any cuts or bulges in the tyre, checking your wheel nuts, checking that you've got valve caps on the valves, everything's okay there. Checking that you've got spray, suppression flap there, checking your lights. Coming down, look at the side of the vehicle, everything's in order there. Coming around the back of the vehicle, making sure that you've got your side lights on. Making sure that the side lights are working up there as well. Bear in mind, if the vehicle's in a dip at night time and you've got the young lad who's racing up behind you, he won't see these lights here, but he'll see the lights up there. So they're just as important as the ones at the bottom. We've got a camera fitted to this vehicle, so making sure that the camera lens is clean. Coming around the side of the vehicle, checking your lights, checking your spray suppression flap, checking the tyres, making sure there's no cuts or bulges in the side of the tyres, checking your wheel nuts, making sure that they're secure, and also checking that you've got valve caps fitted as well. Looking at the tread on the tyres, we're happy with that. Give them a kick, and give the inside one a kick as well. Side rail's okay, lights alright. Coming down, checking the battery cover, that's okay. Checking your tyres, making sure you've got at least 3 mil on there. Checking the walls of the tyres for any cuts or bulges, and checking your wheel nuts, making sure there's no signs of them coming undone. Check your valve cap, which is there, making sure that's fitted. Checking your mirrors, making sure that there's no cracks in the mirrors. Don't forget, it's the PG9 from the ministry if you get stopped with cracks in the mirrors. Checking your side lights. Side lights are working, and don't forget the side lights up at the top. Again, if you're in a dip at night time, the first lights that somebody's going to see coming in the opposite direction is going to be those lights at the top. And about a foot below that is going to be a pair of eyes. If they're not working, you're not warning the oncoming vehicles that you're approaching, and they'll leave their lights on full beam and you're getting dazzled. So making sure those side lights up there are working. Checking the mirror to the front to make sure that's not cracked and that it's securely fitted. And now we're going to check the headlights. So for that we're going to need the ignition on. I'll put the ignition on, then we can check those.
Working. Working. Working.
Bill, what I'd like you to do now is go around the back, check the brake lights for me, check the four-way flashes are working around there, and also check the reversing lights are working as well.
Yeah, okay. Hazard lights. Brake lights. Reversing lights.
Before now is any excessive exhaust smoke. Checking in out the mirror, I'm going to run the engine. Run the engine, check for excessive exhaust smoke, and everything's clear. What I'm now doing is making sure that I'm comfortable in the cab, that I got the steering wheel in the correct position, the seat in the correct position, and I'm also checking that the mirrors are correctly adjusted. Checking the mirrors to the off side, and also the mirrors to the near side, and also the mirror to the front, which is important as well, to make sure that's covering the blind spots around the vehicle. Okay, so the brake lights are working, Bill.
Yes.
Reversing lights are working.
Yep, they are.
Reversing bleeper.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so in any reversing manoeuvres that you make, you know when you sat in the cab there that every warning device is working correctly. Good. Okay. One of the things that we need to do now is prove to the ministry that the vehicle's been checked. Well, number one, we've got the tachograph card in, which is showing other duties. But also what we've got here is a driver's daily check sheet and first use inspection sheet. So once the check has been completed, what we need is driver's name, week commencing. He needs to put in the vehicle number. So you put the registration number in there, the date that the check's being made on, and then that you've checked the fuel, the battery, tyres, spray suppression, steering, security of the load, mirrors, lights, reflectors, indicators, wipers, washers, horn, excess exhaust smoke, brake hoses if applicable, coupling security, electrical connections, brakes, security of body and wings, and markers. If there are no defects, what you write in there is nil. If there are any defects, then you write in the defect number, and any defects are actually recorded in this book, which is a defect reporting book. And what you do with that is put your name in there, your date, vehicle registration number. The important thing is you must put the mileage in, and then whatever the defect is, you write it in there, sign your name, tear the top copy out, and then hand that into the office and make sure that the defect is being rectified. Okay?
Yep.
So one final thing I want to do now is check the security of the load on the vehicle. Okay, these are the marker boards, which are a legal requirement, which must be fitted to the vehicle. They've got to be clean and they've got to be clearly visible. Would you like to come around here, gents? Before you operate the tailgate, because we need to check inside the vehicle, before you operate the tailgate, then what you need to do is make sure that you've got a sufficient area there which is clear for you to put down the tailgate. checking around, making sure that no persons are going to come into contact with it. Okay, just checking around, making sure that nobody's going to come into contact with the tail lift whilst they're loading it. Obviously we're thinking about manual handling here, so we're making sure knees are bent. Debris in there, so obviously what we want to make sure is that the vehicle is clean, it's swept out before it goes out on the road and it's used. So obviously that will be done before we go out. Any securing straps in there, we've got to make sure that they're in good condition, because you may need them, and that is part of your daily walk around check. Making sure there's no damage to the floor or to the sides of the vehicles, and there's nothing in there that's going to cause you any harm. Okay, Joe?